Hello everyone. Welcome. This is the Divine Cosmic Crystal Shop. So we are doing a live sale here, and just quickly as we just allow people to come through, I wonder if we can pin any comments here. Let's see if this works. And really the mode is we're hanging out here, have some great, let's say some chill music here for us. And as always, there is some shop etiquette, especially if this is your first time doing this online or shopping. Essentially, this shop etiquette is as follows. We're going to do an item at a time. Right now we're just doing a little run through of like what we have overhead as we let people walk in. And as we allow, as I walk through one item at a time, you'll be able to catch, we'll say probably a couple moments in each item. I'll let you know how much the item is, and then of course, so if we're shipping within the US, what we want to do is the shipping is $10. If we're going international, that's about $15. Now these are light pieces today, and this isn't even the full inventory. This is really going to be, just like a nice opening of the shop, so to speak. So just visualize you're here, you're coming into the booth, to the stand in the live crystal shop. And if you find something that resonates, especially if this is your first time crystal shopping / also ritual tools later on, I always encourage you to go ahead and first fall into what resonates with you. Sometimes it could be a color. You might not even know why you're being drawn to it. And that's honestly the best and fun part about crystal shopping, I find, and also like ritual tools. You might see a shape, you might see a color. And as I move around the screen here, there's crystals of all varieties, as you know. A lot of the crystals come from the earth. Hey, Alot's energy, welcome. I'm just doing a little breathe through right now, but thanks for coming. So, is this your first time shopping, Alot's energy, with crystals? I'm pretty sure it's not. And as I was saying, you might see something that you resonate with based off of color or texture. All crystals are from the earth, and I have certain crystals here and there that are personal, but I'll let you know when the time comes. I have bracelets here, and we have some rose crystal quartz bowls that you can use to put something in, maybe even water. I have some geodes right there in the back. And then I do have, of course, my own crystals here just holding the fort for us. And just depending, right now we're just waiting a little bit for anyone who want to walk through. And thank you so much for coming. And as I was saying, if it's your first time shopping online or at a live like this on IG, welcome. Always let your intuition, that's the fun part about shopping, I find, especially when you're working with crystals, that let it guide you. And all the crystals, and I'm even learning more now that I am being the mediator for crystals. You'll notice that there are different types. You'll have ones that are already formed, right? And all crystals come from the earth. When you first excavate them, they're raw form. You might see like this, right? And there's not a crystal, before it slips out. There we go. There's not a crystal that I would say is, I would not say that there's one crystal that's like not pretty, right? Because there's always a beauty in it. This, for example, as I move the lighting, this is called a smoky quartz. And this is like the raw form smoky quartz. So you can see it polished form in a tumbled form. And you can also see it in a more formed aspect in terms of a tower like that sometimes. So as I said, I'll go through each item today. If I do happen to know the property of it, give you a little bit more info. Maybe I'll just intuitively read it so that you could see, let me know if you like it. The etiquette is, I'll let you know the price. You can definitely just put down claim first. Whoever I see first would grab that one. And if you're watching the replay, most definitely also, if something was not grabbed, you can feel free to comment or shoot me a DM and I'll get back to you. As I said, shipping's $10 for US and $15 for international. Again, these are light pieces, so it's not going to be as heavy as like that over there. I have this orange honey calcite. Alright, so we'll start with just, I guess, the ones that are closer to us. As I mentioned, if I do happen to know a little bit more properties about the crystal, I'll let you know. So comment down below if are you new to crystals, or are you someone who's already been well seasoned and introduced, and how do you work with them, right? So there's so many different ways. Now, I guess we'll start with this one right here, and I will definitely adjust the lighting. So when you work with crystals, like I said, a lot of them come in different forms. This one here, it's a clear quartz. And when you see this clear quartz particularly, you might see some grooves. And sometimes we think, if there's something that has like little edges and ridges to it, there's something wrong with it. And that's not necessarily true, because you got to take into consideration when they're mining, they're digging through them. Crystals hold information. And so giving that camera a moment just to see. This one, I'll say, so oftentimes you won't actually know, but a lot of these crystals, depending on I would say the shine, the lines, what you're seeing. Here's a prism here. This one will be for $12. Good size quartz crystal. This $12 quartz crystal, you can definitely, it's a nice small enough size, and I'll even put it in the palm of my hand right now, actually. It does stand. I had it standing right there. And how would I use it? I always carry my crystals. Let me know if you wear yours. If they don't already come in like jewelry form, like bracelets or necklaces. But sometimes I'll put them in my pocket. That's one of the recommendations, especially depending on what chakra they go in. With this clear quartz crystal, they always say that clear quartz is the master healer. It also, and you can see the prism right there, is one in which it anchors energy. So when we go through the towers, keep in mind shape is also important in terms of how you use them. But again, you can just be shopping and not use them like any metaphysical way, which is totally fine. So clear quartz helps to clear out the energy. It's very anchoring in terms of intention. You can program crystals too. So when I was saying the ridges and the prisms, when you meditate with them and you meditate putting your whole intention and energy into them, connecting through your heart space, they hold information too. Clear quartz specifically, you can program information and intention of what you want it to anchor. So that was the clear quartz crystal, and that's for $12. anything else about this crystal? Yes, as I mentioned, you'll notice that not all, of course, like a snowflake, not all crystals are the same. The ridges, and as I started like coming across what's more polished, what's already been formed, what's already still raw, there's beauty in it all. I use my crystals for like anchoring in terms of setting intention, ceremony, altar space. I wear them based off the properties, what I want to do with them. I think if it's your first time starting and working with crystals, it's definitely good to have like a good set of each one with different intention and properties. So this one here is clear quartz. That's $12, and you can always send me a DM, comment below. The next one is actually one of these recent ones that I've not come across before. Now, someone can definitely let me know, but this one is called a Phoenix Stone Point. So the Phoenix Stone Point, this one particularly, we can see a lot of the white. We can see these like green little speckles. Sometimes too, depending on like the shine of it, or normally they call these things like aura colors. I'll let you know, they're like reflecting rainbow colors on it, but this one has a beautiful, you can definitely see just how clear it is. So Phoenix Stone, so this one particularly is 18, and it's a tower point. If I were to read it intuitively, it's a white stone with green mostly, so heart-related chakra. It's a new stone to me, so I don't really know a whole lot of property behind the Phoenix Stone, but I thought it was unique and pretty. So I thought, hey, whoever might resonate with it. It's easy. And then this one kind of looks similar to that Phoenix Stone. Hey, Dead Liz. And this one's just a smaller size. It's about half that size with that one. So with this one, you could see that this one's more white. Doesn't really have other colors other than the black speckles. When you were to look at it closer, it's a little opaque inside. Then you start noticing how each crystal, like maybe they're carrying something else, and usually that's just like the minerals where it was taken out from the earth. Kind of reminds you of like trees, moss, right? And you can see not the whole way through is it the same. So this one particularly, see white. And that one, I would say, is $9 for that one. Kind of reminds me of Halite. That's what I was gonna say. So the Halite one is a crystal that I tend to use. I found that one was calling out to me. I actually don't have that one here for extras, but it is something just to maybe look up. That's the other thing too. When you get your crystals, I always find half the fun is in actually the colors, learning about the properties, just like physically. Again, comment below how it is that you use your crystals. So this one, I actually got picked up, and I really like the fact that this is more an aquamarine color. You can see even as I move the light a little bit closer towards you, as little striations inside. There we go, better. You can see as the light hits it in at different angles, it's a nice, edges are nice and smooth, and it's a very sharp point. So this aquamarine one Again, if we were to talk about energy-wise, green is more heart-related. So that green and white Phoenix Point Tower right here, also heart-related, is what I would focus it. Is if you're in meditation, that's how I would use it. But two, the fun part is getting to see what the stones actually mean to you. Like, what are they speaking to you? So when I look them up online, I begin to learn about like their own character, their personalities. What is it that's intuitively wanting to come and assist and help me out with, right? So that's one way that I look at them through. I've come across a lot of different people who use crystals in a different way. Some of them, you look at it through more scientific property. Some of them like it for decor. Depending on what your intentions are. Or maybe it just makes you feel good, and that's all you need to know. And that's fine. To the next one. So this one, I would say that one is 9. That one's 18. We said the clear quartz is 12, and this is a raw form. So you start noticing that a lot of the more precious, they're all precious, but the word technically, just precious stone, they tend to be a little bit pricier, but for today, they're at 12. And then moving on to what I would say, these purple stones. A lot of people like what we call fluorite. And so the one I have here today, and I just want to make sure that I get her name pronounced correctly, because I don't necessarily want to bodge it up for you. But magenta fluorite point is this one here. So the magenta fluorite point. Ooh, let's see if we can get a good reading. When I looked at fluorite, I typically see fluorite in more like a rainbow color. And I'm putting the light closer to you. When you hold the light through, you can see through her. You can see these little, again, like wave-like lines. She has a point here. I always say, like, the good thing about crystals is you start learning, hey, if they're not necessarily all the way polished and smooth, hey, remember they came from the earth. This one is 20. Some of them are labeled, some are not. And if they're not, I'm probably reading it off intuitively for you. So the fluorite point, they can come in multiple colors. They tend to have like a clear, almost, I wouldn't say foggy, because when you shine the light, you can definitely see through. With the magenta one here, again, they actually help with like dreams, fluorites. They come in multiple colors, and the reason why I brought that up is because then we also have fluorite in a very tiny form here, and I'll just hold it still for you. Again, you can see also in this one, there's like, as you shine the light, little lines run through. This is perfect just to place somewhere in your room, carry it with you, meditate with it. There's actually 3, from what I'm counting, layers of those lines that you can see. And again, I'm like holding this light here, but there we go. We finally got something. This can just sit in the palm of my hand. A lot of the crystals, the way they work is they work through energy. We all are vibrating. And so the ways that crystals are formed, they're in an organized structure. Hey, Anshu. So a lot of crystals, especially if this is your first time, just shopping and then coming through, a lot of crystals are formed in solid form, right? They say, just like the Earth's crust, and like us, we're water, right? If you think about elements, this is the Earth and all the properties. Each crystal has its own personality. It's its own way to help you out physically, mentally, spiritually, what else? Emotionally. So fluorites, this one is a fluorite point. It just happens to be thinner than that one. The one that I shared earlier was a magenta fluorite point, fluorite. And as I mentioned, the characteristics of this stone, you'll see that one, a lot of it is purple. So purple is with what? The third eye chakra. This one, so if you notice, if you catch it in the right lighting, you can see a little bit of rainbow right there. So that's where I was saying sometimes, depending on the crystal, depending on how it was shaped and stuff, you can see a little bit of, we'll either call it a rainbow, an aura, or a flash point. This is a little bit. And while I would show you, but next time I will. I have a, what we call labradorite. Labradorite has a lot of flash, depending on the stone too. So that's a fluorite point. That magenta that I just showed is a fluorite point. That one's 20. This one, this thinner fluorite point, so more purple hue color, that's going to be, for now, like $8. This one's a little bit thicker than that one. A little bit smaller than the other one that kind of looked like a howlite phoenix stone, just in size. And again, if you find something that you like, and I'm on it because it's one crystal at about a time for now, just hit claim and let me know. The first person who wants it will grab it. So this is also a fluorite point, but that's thicker than that one. It's a little bit smaller. Again, you can use this for decorating your home, putting it in certain spaces, especially when you want to clear up the energy of your own house, if you have people coming and going. Personally, fluorite, from what I looked up, and again, you can see the little striations inside, it can help with dream work, dreams, desires that you're wanting to bring in, and points in general. If you envision a pyramid or a triangle, right? Points. The property just physically of the shape is that they send the energy up. So they bring all this energy to a focal point, whether it's your prayer, with your, you're putting it in your hand, you're putting it in a room space, you're putting on the windowsill. So that's the property about towers in general. They help to anchor the energy. And if you've ever been with me in a yoga class, I actually set a main crystal, whether it be a tower point or like this one in the back over here. And I'll just move the camera a little bit. That orange calcite right behind the candle, that one is a spiral. And that one just tends to swirl the energy up. That one's an orange calcite. That one's one from my personal inventory. What do they call it? Your personal collection. Yeah, personal collection. So going in terms of price, when we said that this one was 12, that one was 9, I would say this one also priced around the same. That one was 20 and 18 for the Phoenix. Again, this is a fluorite, just like this one, just a little bit thinner. I would say if you want that one, I'll put this one here for 6. Thank you. And this one, again, I'll probably, because some crystals tend to be a little bit more either harder to come by or precious in that sense. They're all beautiful. It just means that maybe some crystals are a little bit harder to get because the mining or where they're based from. And so this one also will be at 8 here. And so we've gone through these crystals so far. Just to throw in something a little bit more raw and noticing the different shape, we have a smoky quartz. And I love smoky quartz. Let me know if a certain color resonates, even just sharing in the chat. So this is a raw smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is actually, you would say, sister to the clear quartz. So when we put them in together, clear quartz kind of reminds you of like a diamond, right? Now this is clear quartz. This is smoky. What does smoky do? This is the raw form, which again is a very beautiful statement piece. I like to work with them, just having them around my space when I'm meditating or praying. And really, again, when you set your intention, the way crystals work, not only do they help you vibrationally attune to your own balance and harmony, but also, like I mentioned, this one has a couple points. You have a point right here. You have a second one. You have a couple just coming out of the base. And then this is how you know it came from more closer to the earth and hasn't been formed yet, right? So what they do is also they have the intention, they all have their personality in terms of what they're more specific able to work with and anchor and amplify your intention, energy, desires. Smoky quartz is the sister to clear quartz. I even like to call her the shadow quartz because she represents like that wild energy in terms of that part of you that is more outside of the lines of the box. She colors outside the circle. And this one I've found, I mean, working with her just on intuition, right? And hello, welcome. They help to unlock certain aspects or areas of your consciousness too, aspects of yourself and your mind that maybe you haven't fully opened and accepted to. And like for me, I mean, just to share, and anyone else can let me know how you're working with, say, quartz in general or smoky quartz here. My intention is to accept the parts of me that maybe I bottle up because I feel that, you know, society dictates or culture dictates, oh, hey, you know, I have to be a certain way. Well, I want to embrace and accept that part of me that I've locked up. Like, what can she teach me? So this, I love her. So beautiful. I want to get more of her, honestly. So smoky quartz, this one here is 22. She's a really great size. And again, when you look at crystals, again, considering how many points she has, she's like 1, 2, a third one right there, baby one right here. So 4 points anchoring. The more, especially if we're talking about points and anchoring energy down, you can consider that the more points you have, the more amplifying it. And I'm very gesturing, showing gesture with my hands here. So again, this smoky quartz is 22. If you like something, or if you see something in the background, definitely let me know. We can just walk through it. So this is a beautiful crystal. When we think about the color too, it's the aspect of you. When we work through the full moons, what are we releasing? What are we making room for? Especially since we went through this full Sag moon. And if you've, if you're in the if you're in the divine cosmic journey, shamanic journey that we do 2 ceremonies a month, I'm holding that crystal. There we go. We talked about the shadow in terms of the full moon Sag, having to go through a couple cycles of Sagittarius and eclipse. You think about, okay, what have I brought? What have I learned? And what am I ready to, you know, that deeper layer, that next layer aspect of me step into and accept? What haven't I explored yet? And so that one is 22. Again, if you work from home or if you work in an office space, I talk about how I set my altars at work like this. Well, I actually have a picture of my representation of my higher self, one of my many forms, the Cosmic Mermaid, and I set an altar. I probably don't take that big orgy Kyle's light, but I do set some towers at work. If you're new, always a great thing to have in your building inventory with your crystals is clear quartz, because it helps to clear up the energy. Then a good black stone for removing and not taking in any unwanted energy, like the black tourmaline ones, which I have some in raw and I have smooth tumbled. They're not here today, but they are coming in. But I do have these, I would say like these mini starter kits. And this one particularly, I would say like more courage and intuition and a bit of like fiery go-getter energy. We have the tiger's eye tumbled. This crystal here, I wouldn't say, and I've started coming across them. There's a couple that I've learned. So this one kind of looks like a clear quartz in the sense that it's that white clear form. But I've learned there's a couple. Now you could definitely, if you're more, like you have been working with crystals for a while, maybe you know there's particular ones, but we have one called a patholite. The other one I have to get the name of too. But this one is going to be in that bag here. These bags, I only have 2. I only made 2 for this show. Are $12. And it comes out with different crystals. This one, it looks like, there we go. It's a raw crystal. Someone asked me, because I had some people who actually were interested and they received their packages. They're like, oh, what could I use with the small ones? Well, you can actually, again, wherever they are, they hold the space. You know, your prayer intentions, they help to clear up the room. They help to make the energy in that kind of like feng shui idea more balanced. If you work with grid work or prayer and intention, you want to give back to your earth, Mother Earth, you can plant crystals into the soil and put them back in. These are, some of these are like precious in terms of the, like, it's something different when you're able to go inside and dig them up, right? And I'm just opening up. All the crystals you see here, I also put an intention in terms of clearing. And I, as you saw previously, if you were here earlier, I tend to put an incense. So I'm clearing them energetically from whoever I got it from, where I got it from, and then where they're going for you. This is a purple one. This bag has a variety of little stones. It's $12. And as I mentioned, you'll get a couple of different types. Definitely, if you're going to have your own, build your own little like kit, have a clear quartz in there. Because it's one of those foundations. And actually, that was probably one of my first stones too. So this one has a variety. You have a blue stone here. You have some agate here. Different form. These are tumbled, so you can start noticing the difference. You have a couple of raw forms, and you have a beautiful tiger's eye, which is also tiger. That's why I named the bag for like tiger wisdom, go-getter energy. Hey Jen, thank you for making it. I know Jen. I wonder if you also like put crystals in your ceremonial space. Jen here, Jen's healing space. She was in our cohort for our shamanic sound certification, and she does her own show, not her own show, she does her own ceremonies at spaces in her area, so check her out. And yeah, Jen, do you use crystals? I was letting people know that I actually, in my altars, I form an altar, and I have certain crystals work with me to anchor in that energy and the intention. And so this is the second bag too. This one, you'll see a blue stone here. This is what I was talking about. This one does have the black tourmaline. So when we think about polarity, there's always one that's clearing. So like the major healer is a clear quartzal. And then you have some that repel, or think about like a shield, energetically speaking, right? And that's, a couple of them are known, and I've ordered some, I've gotten some black tourmaline. They haven't come in yet, but they will. They're going to be bigger pieces than this, but Alchemy at least shows you. When you see a black tourmaline in its raw form, I'm just giving a moment. Yeah, it's a very tiny piece, but it's so powerful. It's the raw form. So black tourmaline helps to not absorb negative energy, especially if you're somebody who works with a lot of people, or maybe the energy is really high and active. So this one has a black tourmaline in the bag. I love black tourmaline. There's another one known as black obsidian. It's black too, but you kind of notice the texture is different, especially in the smooth tumbled like palm stone version. But I believe with black obsidian, you actually have to frequently like clear it out because it absorbs the energy. This one, yeah, I always think black tourmaline acts as like that defensive shield, kind of bounces it off you, so energetically help you in that space. And thank you for coming on, Shu. Now then, this package here does have a beautiful size clear quartz, so this one too is still $12. You'll have this beautiful clear quartz, similar like to the one on the floor, and it's a little side crystal coming out, or it's coming out from it, and you can see the striations here. You can meditate. It actually does have a little bit of rainbow, yep, right there, and you can see it, which is beautiful. It's a point, and this is a really good size crystal here. Striations sometimes, ridges on the outer layer can be messages that you can meditate with. Everybody has their own intuitive abilities, gifts. Everybody actually has it, just depends on how you work them. This one also has an agate, as a blue one here for like throat chakra, and a couple of raw pieces here. So those two bags here are $12, and also comes with its own tumbled stone, a big one. Let's take a look. Kind of does look like a cross. It does look like a tiger's eye here to me. I would say it has less gold than the other one, but it's still very pretty color. I'm trying to find, there we go. A little bit more red-ish tone. Tiger's eye, you'll see it'll be like red tiger's eye. You have the most common, which is like the brown golden tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is, I find a lot of males like it. And it's also, it helps you to like, especially when you have like goal driven, or when we talk about like money, it makes you more in terms of stepping into that space of going to go get it. And so you could see, even as I'm just twirling the stone around, how it looks like. So this one, each one has a tumbled stone. Both have a variation of a quartz in there. And this one bag here with the red tiger's eye has a black tourmaline, also an agate, and both are $12. And then going back to the towers as we go through and just taking inventory. Let's see. All right, so the next crystals, other common ones, or not I would say common, but one of the most ones you initially get in the beginning, talk about clearing energy. We talk about protecting. So that was like black tourmaline ones that I'll be having in stock, especially as I do lives and go in person to fairs. Welcome, who just came through. The next crystal, self-love, right? Especially when you first start working with crystals, we often have like so much baggage that we carry, and we tend to maybe not have focused on loving and nurturing ourselves. So the next crystal I'll probably highlight both are rose quartz, pink for love. It's a very soft and gentle stone in terms of working with her. Self-acceptance. You could talk about like the energy of unconditional love. She's also a great tower. She stands. Now, if I'm looking through her, yeah, she does have a little bit of flash. We were saying earlier that a flash is if you see like a rainbow color when you put it through, so you can see a little bit right here. And I just dyed my hair, so forget the nails. But the other thing great too, like she's a really light rose quartz. You can see the lines through her. And we talked about how point help to anger and set your intention and draw the energy to a certain point where you're calling it in. You can meditate with them. And whatever it is that you're needing, maybe you're emotionally needing a little bit more self-love and wanting to accept and, work with yourself, right? We all need to do our own emotional work. So when I began working with rose quartz crystal, she came to me and I had like this inner child wound. Maybe this is a good space too for us to like just share, which is totally fine. Because I found that working with crystals over time for me, they helped me to emotionally get more balance and more in harmony, now I'm doing things I didn't think I'd ever do because of working with them. So this is a rose quartz crystal, and she's going to be now 16. If you like her, you can claim the price, and let me know. And just putting that light a little bit better actually works better here. And just noticing. So we have that in that form. Rose quartz crystal, as I mentioned, was another one that had come into my life early on because I needed to hear like the inner child wound. And then we have a couple of these different sizes. In terms of sizes, we have a small one and a bigger one. And then we have pretty much like similar. So what these are rose quartz little bowls. And if you guys let me know if you have seen that before, but usually certain crystals, not all of them, you can put them in and allow them to work with water. And then the properties can be taken internally. If anyone's ever heard of like homeopathic medicine, it's a great way to work with it. Again, I would recommend you to get like a crystal book that lets you know if a certain crystal is able to be drinkable and taken in internally, just like an essential oil, right? Because some of them wouldn't really, release the most beneficial physical benefits for that to be taken in. But rose quartz, you could place a little bit of water here. If you do offerings and such, it's a great way to place water, pray over it, your intention. Maybe give it back to the earth. So we have 3 of these bowls for now, I believe. I would have to double check. And with the bowls, this one is 12. The smaller one will be at $8. So the both bigger ones are $12. And I just thought it was a different form to like present the rose quartz crystal. You can also place your rings on it. And also with the bowls, other different creative ways. If you're somebody who works with herbs, that's a great way to charge. So charging, that's a way to great charge and amplify the energy of what you're working with. So we always like bless things. So as I said, all the crystals, I set my intention, I put incense in and help to clear them out. Especially right before I give them out to anybody. And then going to the next one, we have here, this is the original type of fluorite that I was mentioning that I've come across and like noticed originally first. And the other ones are different forms down here, but so this is a fluorite rainbow. So you can see, depending on where I put her, let me see if I can put that light. Let's see. Trying to find the right angle for her. She's a pretty big one compared to all the other ones. There we go. We'll do it this way for now. She has green here. She has a flash in rainbow. You can see the striations on this right there, a mixed hue. And as you see her and she twirls around in different spaces, she'll have different rainbows. This one's going to be a little bit more on the pricier end. If you do see this video, so this one is $60. Definitely the angle on the camera doesn't bring it justice because it's a beauty stone. And even right here from this light angle, you can see a blue tip or green. There we go. So I'll just probably show you different ways so you can see the flash, the lighting. And again, when you look up the stones, I'm probably just giving you the names today, but I encourage you, if you find a stone that resonated, hey, let me look it up. Why did it call out to me? What is it that I'm probably needing internally to bring up into my space for healing? Maybe that I need to work with, or maybe I want to set my own intention here, right? So the next one is also a point, and I also have it in sphere form. So I like this one. It's a new stone that I came across. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Phoenix Grounded. Hello, welcome. This one's a ruby zoisite. So ruby, and again, finding that right angle for that lighting here for you. This is a point crystal. This is, I think, yep, $9 for this one. If you would like her, if you see anything else, if you want to go back to a price, feel free to let me know. So ruby zoisite, beautiful green hues, dark hues right here, and the red is the ruby. It's a new stone that I came across. Working on my journey, certain stones and crystals will come to me from time to time, and then I'll look them up and the meaning and like, okay, maybe this is something I want to work with right now in my path for spiritual growth, my own personal life. So this is a ruby zoisite. Again, I would encourage you to look her up. Look for ruby zoisite metaphysical properties. What are the benefits, right? I like her. A lot of green reminds me of like heart chakra, and then the red is more rooting, right? Especially it's a ruby color. Comment below if you work with crystals. This is your first time in the shop. Let me know. I love her. So this one is $9. And again, let me know if you would like to claim. Just put the price down. Claim price. Shipping within US is $10. A lot of these right now, what we're doing today, are light. So you can have a nice little box sent to you. Love that flat rate. And if you're international, 15. So let me show you the other 2 forms of ruby zoisite that I found. I was really excited because I was like, oh my gosh, I love spheres. So I'm coming around and bringing them to you guys. This is ruby zoisite. This is 25 sphere. And this is ruby zoisite 28. A little bit bigger. That's why the price is that way. But so sphere forms, we have not talked about spheres. So when you look at spheres, they're rounding, right? They help to bring the energy, you imagine yourself within a bubble. They help to bring it into this space in a more balanced and harmonious way, rather than just straight down and anchoring, which is perfect, just depending on your intention. This one, of course, is a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. How do I work with them? The crystals you'll get, if you get a sphere, you'll get a little stand. So you can put it on your table. You can put it in your altar space. You can meditate with it. I like to have like little crystal bags for them. So when I travel with them, they're not like going against my backpack. This reminds me of, you know how they had those candies back in the day when you were younger? I forgot what they call. But this is also ruby zoisite. You have it in the green, the like specks around the earth. Doesn't it look like a planet? And then also you have the rubies all the way around. So just showing one at a time. This is a smaller one for 25. Kind of looks like a planet. And then this is the one for $28. I'll probably, if you go to my page, divine.cosmic.shop with two P's and an E, I'll be posting like the properties of each stone, just say after a recap from the shop, and you can let me know as I build my website in terms of how I want to like lay them out, present them. But these are the 3 ruby zoisite forms that I have. Just to give you a little bit of different things to look at as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, and if this is your first time, and maybe, hey, you know, I'd like something. Again, you know, payments within 12 hours. And we're going to go and I'll show you a couple of these. Again, another form. These are known as geodes. I have 2 here in the back. These are quartz oak, and these are from Brazil. So this one here, with geodes, you have what you would call probably the terminology is like a druze. So it's that like rock formation in there in the center. You have the outer rim, which is a beautiful color. It's kind of like a reddish brown. So these ones here, so this one here is 15 for this form, and this one comes in a half. It's not a full geode, but I started loving these like raw forms even more. Geodes formally, and I'll show you in a moment, they come in like a sphere form. You go ahead and you open them, you crack them open, and then you get to see what happens inside. So say if you imagined, well, maybe this is a whole entire one. This has a wrapping on it. This one comes in the pair, and the pair together would be 24. The other one was, as I mentioned, so this is a different color. Say, hey, this is how they came in, and boom, you crack them open, and this is a geode form. Again, it's a good straightment piece, depending on how you want to lay it out. For a lot of people who do like ceremonies or rituals, setting the intention, and that's what I started thinking about too. Like, what are my crystals? You know, how do they help anchor in the space? What is my intention? You know, what type of vibe am I bringing in? And this kind of gives me like inner sea galactic vibe. This says I have a blue ridge outside, and for the pair is 24. I have another geode. This one is white in color. And it has a beautiful, like, I'd call it like a white, foggy, like, color going through the rim. And it's also druzy in there. It's a little just inside there. Kind of reminds you, again, geodes remind me of like a clam or an oyster. And this one's also 14. 14, and the other one 14 as well. Again, if you're watching the recording, let me know what resonates with you. I think the next one we'll do is probably just the bracelets for now, and then we'll probably just have the others on another show. But either way, is there something like in terms of what your intuition is leading you to want to use them as? Do you want to wear them? Do you want to put them as altar spaces? Do you want to carry it with you? You know, it just depends on what you would like. And so for some of you guys seeing me or know me, I do wear a lot of crystal jewelry. This is, again, my own personal collection, different types. Depending on my intention, what I'm working with. I have one for like bone support joint with a sunstone blue. I have my Billy's rhodonite for love and being a little bit more gentle in terms of what I'm working with in terms of releasing. And this is the most recent one I have, is an azurite stone, which I'm still working and getting to know her. Along with one of my favorite stones is a dragon's blood, because dragon's blood reminds me of other lifetimes, as well as working with the dragon spirit and the energies that work through with me in my shamanic journey. So a lot of mine are birds, and so in that space there's also dragons that I work with. Speaking of, I guess we'll go there. One of the dragons, and I plan to have more. These are two dragon heads. These are small little cute ones. Kind of reminds me of a strawberry quartz. And then you have this green one here. So for the two dragon heads, again, altar spaces. Everybody has their own energy that they resonate with. And, you know, we talk about how with those, you might have some sort of animals, spirit guides that come to you. And just showing them kissing right there. And with dragon heads, so this one would come in a pair, and they are going to be 13 for the two. And you can also see kind of like the shape of the eye, the ears, the little teeth, and the tip of the nose. So 13 for the two. And these are dragon's head. I did mention dragon's blood. Someone had already claimed the dragon's blood before the live palm stone version, but I have a dragon's blood. This is the form. This is the same form as my bracelet. That's, again, my personal one, but I have a dragon's blood sphere. Hello, welcome. Let me know where you're from. This is a dragon's blood. This one kind of looks like ruby zoisite, except that the green is more like ancient for me, like a deeper green, yellow, and then you have the red. So that's what you tend to see with dragon's blood, which I love. Especially if you're someone who works with dragon energy. You can think of a sphere almost like an egg. There are egg crystals. I haven't gotten any yet, but I do want to. Symbology is so important, especially when you work with metaphysical energy, you know, the items, tools, crystals, allies. There's an intention in everything. And remember, I said spheres help to kind of harness the energy all over balance, like the shape of a sphere. Points help to anchor in the energy and draw it down to you. And so when we talked about wearing energy, so I have some bracelets. Yes, I do. And since we're on the note of dragon's blood, and I'll show you, I actually have an extra one that I'm actually wearing from my personal collection. But this is the rhodonite. So let me see if I can get this better view for you. So I have this one, and my hands has a little bit. So this is my rhodonite one, self-love and acceptance, especially when it comes to healing. It'll help to soften whatever it is that you're working through in your life, depending what cycle you find yourself in. This is a rhodonite. It has a little bit more earthy pink and brown hues to it. They're still very beautiful. Unique properties, and I felt drawn to it when I started coming and work with it a couple weeks ago. You'll notice when you go to a store, somebody might say something about a stone, and you're like, oh, hey, I never even knew that stone before, and it'll come to your awareness. So the story behind the rhodonite for me was I knew that I was working with, I have been working with, and it's a cycle, it's a process, it's a journey about self-love and acceptance and loving myself, because I didn't really get that as a child when I was growing up, right? Some of us maybe didn't have like a mother figure or father figure in our life, especially today's Father's Day, by the way. Happy Father's Day. And The person was like, oh, I'm working with like loving and accepting myself, and I heard rhodonite does that, and you can tell if a stone is about love and acceptance based off also chakras colors. So rhodonite here has some pinks, and she has brown. You'll notice if a stone has some brown color, it reminds you about the earth. It's gonna ground you. So rather than having the emotions just blur out of you, right? It's gonna help to bring it in into more harness controlled way that you can process what it is that you need to process. So that's just a good cue or clue to know about, like, oh, okay, when I'm just like right off finding I'm resonating with a color or maybe a theme about something, what chakras are wanting to be rebalanced. Oftentimes our chakras get, out of balance, just kind of like an instrument from time to time. And we need some support. Meditation is great. That is the best, and it's such an avenue to a lot of different like therapies and practices that you find doing in the healing world, right? So yes, price. This bracelet is, for this one particularly, the rhodonite is $14. If we're going to put it on, now depending on your size of your wrists, I'd say my wrists are like they're not too big, but it's a little loose. Now this stone here is bigger than my dragon's blood bracelet, so you could see, versus other stones, and I'll definitely show you because the next one is thicker. This one here is known as African blood. Hey FMS, thank you for coming in and joining us. Let me know if you wear crystals, or is there a color that you resonate, or is there a crystal you work with? So this is African blood. I first saw it and I thought, it was like, hey, it looks like dragon's blood because like the red and the green. And it kind of also reminds you of like moss agate, and I'll show you in a minute why. But this is actually African blood. Usually with thicker stones, maybe personal, if you're a female, you like to have thicker stones. Let's just stack them here. This is my wrist, excuse me. And just showing you the sizes again. So just letting you know. So African blood is this one. Also for men tend to like bigger, thicker stones, and it's so stretchy. So depending on what you like, each one here, when we look through it, and let me just pull that out, is 14. So each one is 14. This is rhodonite for self-love and acceptance. African, we do see like the green color. So I said I would sometimes, if I don't know a full story, because there's so many crystals, so many personalities, so many properties, I'll read you off like the chakra energy in terms of intuition. Hey! Thank you! Yes! And so like intuition-wise, green, heart related. As I mentioned earlier with the dragon's blood, I love dragon's blood because I have such a connection with dragon spirits. They're such a beautiful, loving energy. If you think about also mythologically, they resemble close to the snake. Snake is about rebirthing. It's about being able to go through a process and just receive that change more easily, right? Now, I did say that African blood was similar because of the green. Reminded me of moss agate, and this is moss agate. So this one, when you look at moss agate, it's a little bit more smoother finish. And I'll try to get that camera, there you go, for you. A little bit more shine. The stones are smoother. You see, sometimes you have a lighter green. And when they say moss, it's because it kind of resembles like the phoenix stone. I'll go back to it. It's like this little like moss look into it. You have a darker green here. And so this is the moss agate bracelet. I have two of these here. And with each one, again, each one is 14. As I said, shipping is 10 in the US, 15 international. A lot of these are lightweight, since we're doing smaller pieces for now, especially because I'm just opening up my shop. I tend to use bigger pieces at most times too, because I do a lot of altars and stuff for the work that I do. But this is a beautiful moss agate, and if you get one of the two little crystal kits, that's also an agate, but yellow, but in a tumbled form. So just showing you, if you're new to crystals or if you have been using them, let me know, how do you use them? You'll see they come in so many different forms, which I love. And each one has a different property. So when we talk about energetically, when you put them on, say, jewelry wear, you'll see sometimes we talk about like green and blue. Green is heart, blue is the next color up towards the third chakra, self-expression. When I started looking at agate, because agate was so prevalently known as I started opening up the shop. And agate will help you to connect to your spiritual intuition, your relationship with yourself, your higher self a little bit more. When you think about like ancient times and ancestors, right? And I was actually speaking about this with my friend here. I got my septum pierced like 2 years ago. And it was always like, oh my God, you don't do that, because of like, you're putting a piercing on your face and what are you doing to your face? But I always saw it like a tribal woman, like our ancestors, especially if you think about like, and this is anybody, you know, Mayan culture, like African culture, we have piercings, we adorn the temple. We're talking about how God has given us our bodies to adorn ourselves, to express ourselves. We all are different aspects of what God has to put into this earth and bring forth. And so when we wear jewelry, say you wear on your wrists, energetically, your wrists have like their veins and, you know, like Chinese meridians. They come up to certain points in the body and organs, also the chakras. And then you're wearing them also, like I use them as reminders, you know, oh, okay, I'm needing self-love here today. I'm praying for my body to be in good health for joint support. And so moss agate, depending, there's a lot of info when you look her up too. What does she say to you? What does she want to work with you about, right? And one that I did bring up earlier, you can definitely watch the replay. One of these kits here has a tiger's eye, excuse me. Tiger's eye, golden brown, and I think, yeah, the other one has a similar, like a tiger's eye. Oh, I gotta be careful because I have spears rolling here. Perfect. Alright, so then I have another one. This is like a more red tiger's eye color. A little bit of flash as you move it through. And then, the reason why I brought it up, because this is tiger's eye too. So tiger's eye is like, think about a tiger. You think about symbology. What does the tiger represent? Like fierceness, right? Tiger is, she's a hunter. And it's also about gold here, about like abundance. And if you're a business person too, it helps you to tap into the aspect of you that, hey, I need to go after the goal. I need to be working and definitely be focused, right? So this is a tiger's eye, smaller beads. I would say similar to my dragon's blood bracelet. Beautiful gold hues. Now, tiger's eye tends to be a stone when, again, some are, when you go into a store or you go anywhere, usually certain stones, you'll see either prices vary, right? And that's because some stones are either rarer or harder to come by. Tiger's eye is one of those stones that are like, yeah, that costs more. Sometimes they're an investment, right? But this one, because it's lighter and smaller in terms of the size of the beads that they put them in, it'll just be $12 for this one. So if you like something, you just hit claim, put the claim, and the price. Or if I see it, of course, then I know it's you. And this is Tiger's Eye. So if you're wanting to work with that energy of wanting to bring out your confidence a little bit more out, and it's not like, hey, dictatorship confidence, but it's like, hey, you know, I need to be more assertive in my life, especially once it comes to my goals, and let me have that assistance and receive that part of me. Like I mentioned, the chakras, they kind of need a tune-up every now and then, especially because like where you work, the energy of everybody else, do they do energetic cleansing and, you know, hygiene for themselves, right? That's something just to bear in mind. The last 3 bracelets I'll show, there's one of each. And again, I'm just starting to open my shop, so I'm kind of having a feel of what everybody likes. A lot of the pieces I have are things I either have in my own personal collection and or things I come across like, hey, I like that, and let me share a little bit about it. So going back to chakras, so if you find sometimes, maybe I used to back then, like before I started working with energy work and like crystals, I used to wake up like depressed. Like sometimes my energy, my emotions would be flux. One day I'd be waking up all depressed and tired and lethargic. The other days, I'd be like, hey, I'm ready to go, right? So that's where the support of the crystals with intention and prayer always help to further and assist into that, what it is you're needing to heal. And you're the healer. We talked about like the clear quartz. You're the master healer. You know, you and your higher self, you and your source, and we all are one energy, right? Hey, Cosmos and Love. Hey, welcome. Cosmos, do you have crystals too? Do you wear them? Thank you for coming. So, I'm showing these 3 bracelets. So, you work with this to help you balance out. So, that's why I like wearing jewelry. And girl, if you saw my meme on my other page, there's this one that's like, hey, my girlfriend went out to pay the bill and she just tried to pay in crystals, like for real. I like crystals more than I do just pure general like diamond, other type of stones. They're all crystals but in different forms. This is my wedding ring in amethyst form. Yes. And so this one is here, one that I came across. Hey. Yes, I know rose quartz is one that I love to work with. Hey, Flora. Welcome. Let me know if you use crystals or wear them. This is called an eucalyptus. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Kind of resembles rhodonite in a little way. And I'll show you just based of. So that's rhodonite. More pink, brown hues, a little bit more grounding. As I said, it's for self-healing. And when you're releasing things, hey, it lets me to anchor in a more soft and gentle way rather than like word vomit. So eucalyptus has more green, pink hues. Kind of also reminds me of dragon's blood, and I keep talking about dragons, hey. Now, it's not a stone that I've worked with personally, but it did call out when I got my rhodonite stone too. So this also, it's a little bit bigger in terms of the Tiger's Eye stone. So this is going to be $14. You can type eucalyptus, $14 if you're watching the replay or even here now. It's light, so people, I tell you, if you're going to build a box, you'll be fine with the shipping. Because I don't have a lot of big pieces right now, or heavier pieces. So the last 2 bracelets here. Now, this has more yellow hues. When we talk about, and let me just hold that, there we go, better view. This has pretty much a lot of everything. You have a lot of yellow, so yellow is solar plexus. We talk about the pink hue right here on the top is like more love and self-love. This green one reminds me of like that, eucalyptus, also dragon's blood in a way, but more eucalyptus towards. And then you have a little bit of gray and blues here. The great thing about crystals is that in time, you'll notice like, hey, they've helped me to rebalance and helped me to step into an aspect of my life and grow. And then I'm ready maybe to intuit, like you notice, like, hey, maybe I don't need to wear this one so much today, because again, crystals and everything you work with is really just an externalization of you. And I love to use them as reminders, as portals to jump through and go like, hey, I want to work on this aspect of my life and move forth. Assistance, as I said earlier on, meditation is perfect, it's great. But then also sometimes when we move off through the mat, there's all the assistance through allies and spirit guides and spirit animals like the dragons, right? Comment below, what is your spirit animal that you work with most frequently or recently? And they're all here to assist, to make our life, like I mentioned earlier with that story I shared, how I used to wake up like depressed and notice that my emotions would be a flux, right? They all help us to really just bring out the fullest, more complete version of ourselves that in our lifetime here, and to live through life in a more strong, empowered, anchored way. This stone kind of also reminds me of like Moss Agate in terms of the clarity of the crystal. There you go, it's a better view here. She has more purples and pinks, little blues, and yellow. And you can definitely think about solar plexus, love, and expression. Also purple's intuitiveness, right? Beautiful color stone. This one is also going to be 14. And if you found that you liked something here today, or was there a particular form that you liked and you wanted to learn or more about, let me know. If you're watching the replay, comment below, message me if something wasn't claimed yet. I'll let you know. And I would send you an invoice via PayPal or Venmo. And typically the shipping is done within 24 to 48 hours, depending on when the date was held for the show. And in this case, oh yes, this is what I was actually looking for. One last stone in terms of having it in your toolkit. This is a little piece of selenite. So selenite kind of reminds you of crystal quartz, except that when you see selenite, and this is another selenite form, but in tower, the selenite form. Now, selenite helps to clear. If you've seen it, sometimes selenites would come in a kind of like a wand form. They help to direct energy too, and also clearing spaces. So always think of selenite like a wand for me. Like when it forms circles, and when you have your own ceremony or rituals that you form, that's definitely something you want to consider. It helps you, especially when your mind is not anchored and you're about to get ready for, I want to say a show, but it's not necessarily a show. You're ready to get something done, and like you're mentally don't have time to like meditate. We talked about like incense, which I will have later on in the shop. These are tools that you can already set the intention, they anchor it, have faith. Again, faith and love, and they help to support you in the intention and the will, right? So this selenite's point is $18. Good form for her. And the reason, oh hey Tom, I was thinking about you. I was actually thinking about you. It's been a very long time since we've talked. So I was looking for the selenite because I wanted to put her into this bag here, because the other one had a really bigger crystal quartz. So this one, again, like the $12 grab bags for your little starter kit, however you want to use the pieces, will have a selenite in there for you too. I would say we pretty much ran through everything other than the palm stones. which, you know, palm stones are great. They're also used for like meditation. A lot of them come out in different forms too. So this is a beautiful, I say it was sunstone. She actually does have a little gentle flash. The light kind of like doesn't really show that, but it's kind of like a pearlescent color. Sun, golden rays. For the palm stone, DM me. I'll either put her for like 16, 18, and then this is one I haven't shown. This one is 12. This is a flower agate. So we talked about agates, and this is a flower one. Nowadays, when you see them, again, the moss agate had the like little moss kind of like lines. Kind of reminds you of like the flower. And I would actually cut myself today right before I came on. So the flower agate here, this one's $12. Why is it called flower agate? Because you can see when you hold her, the formation she has inside reminds you of a flower. It's like when you have resin, right? And the resin is a flower pattern inside. So it's a moon-shaped palm for $12. And the last two, just to show, we have, this one is a flower. It's $6. Flower, not a flower, excuse me, a leaf form soda, is it sodalite? I might be botching that, but blue and white sodalite. Throat chakra is self-expression. And this is another palm stone. Going back to that other palm, yes, that one's gonna be 14 for that the sunny one. And this is a jasper, ocean jasper green. You can see the little like beautiful, I call them like bubbles, but that's not the word. They remind me of cells, though. Palm stones, or you also call some like worry stones, you can hold in your pocket, you can carry them with you, or altar spaces and decoration. I encourage you, if you found something you resonated with, look it up, the meaning, what you would like, what resonates with you about it, and then hey, it might be the stone that's calling out to work with you and support. And thank you so much for joining me, everybody who came through, supported, and share the stories. Again, my IG is divine.cosmic.shoppe, SHOPPE, and I'll probably start doing a post for different stones this week, let you know about the properties, and then you can always just watch the replay for something that caught your eye. And what else do you would like to see? Let me know what you would like me to find for you. And thank you so much for joining in. Satnam.